and sealed the prophets, peace be upon the prophet, upon his descendants, upon his companions, and upon the righteous throughout the world, and peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum. Dear beloved Muslim, we are ever thankful to Allah, highly glorified to see for once again allowing us to unite for this special day for the believers, this Jumu'ah by which we come to seek his guidance, his mercy, beg for his forgiveness, and do all those things in supplication, that is, calling out to him in a way that will help us to get better, because that's what this whole process of life is about. It's about getting better. And when we turn to him, we will get better. In fact, he says that he would never change the condition of a people until they change it themselves. Meaning that he has already given us power. He has given us power to improve. That's why as we turn to him, it's always about getting better. He's given us the power, but he said it would only become a reality when we change the condition ourselves. See, and some people don't realize the kind of power they've been blessed with. And that's why he says that he sends his messengers. And the messengers come to deliver a message that will allow human beings to improve, grow, and advance life. That's the very purpose of the messenger. The messenger comes to deliver a message. And I like to say that the messenger comes to deliver the message that will help us to clean up the mess. See, whatever kind of mess you got in your life, social mess, financial mess, physical mess, family mess, emotional, intellectual mess, whatever kind of mess you have going on in your life, Allah says he sent the messengers with guidance. See, that's what man longs for. He needs guidance, because when Allah created us, he placed us in a world filled with nothing but opportunities and challenges. And if you live in a world with opportunities and challenges without guidance, you may end up anywhere, because the world can be very challenging. In fact, Allah himself says that he created the human being to face challenges. But if the human being has not been schooled or how do I interpret challenges, then those challenges can overwhelm me. See, some people haven't been taught how to deal with the challenges of life. And some people literally, when challenges come, they give up. They fall out of life because no one ever told them that you can handle a challenge. They think that the challenge is designed to just wipe them out. They lose faith, they just become frantic. That's why we turn to Allah. So we make the salat because the salat is designed to strengthen the relationship, and then the salat helps to strengthen us. When we turn to him, we don't turn to him for any other reason but for strength. In the eyesight of Allah, all of us are weak. And we turn to him for strength. And he said that the salat itself is hard except for those who bring a lowly spirit, who humble themselves and say, Lord, I humble myself before your power. And when I turn to you, I want to tap into your power that will help me to become much more powerful as I move through this journey called life. So Allah highly glorified, as he tells us that he sends the messenger with guidance. We live in a very, very challenging world. We live in a world where there's just so much going on. I mean, you see so many misdirected and misguided people, it's almost a shame. And they're moving on not just instinct, but they're moving on passion. That's why the Quran gives us the 3 stages of human development. And the first stage of that development has to do with appetite and passion, where you're operating almost on an animalistic level. There's no reasoning, There's no real awareness. It's just drive. Now that's necessary because you can't advance in life without drive. You can't advance in life without urges. And some people allow those urges and drives to dominate their lives, where they operate strictly out of passion. That's why we talked before. We said when you look at the advertisement, Mountain Dew said, obey your thirst. See? Obey your urges. Now, most people just see it as, oh, I'm thirsty, just obey them, just give me something to drink. But they're saying, obey your appetites. Don't think about it. That's why Nike told you, just do it. Don't think about it. Don't ponder on it. Just do it. The guy just operating instinctively out of drive, passion, and desire with no thought to it. So Allah said He created a thinking being. That you just can't stay on this level of desire. Because if you stay on a level of desire with no guidance, that desire can become destructive once it's manipulated. Because there's forces in society working to manipulate your passion and your desires. So we can't stay on that little baby state. Can't stay on the baby level. That's the first stage of development. And that's the development where a lot of people get stuck at. They can't seem to get out of this emotional state. They can't seem to get out of this state of just fulfilling appetite. Their whole life is consumed with just fulfilling appetite. But they don't even think about it. They don't give much thought to their activity. But Allah says that He sent His messenger with guidance. Let's turn to this verse where we talked about last week about guidance in the religion of truth. We talked about that last week when we talked about they work to put out the light of Allah with their mouths. See? There's all kind of forces operating in society working to minimize the power of Al-Islam. Getting people sold on the ideal that Al-Islam has no real merit, where in fact Al-Islam is the fastest growing way of life in the entire world. Yeah. Even though people work to discredit, work to make people think about maybe I shouldn't be, but people are becoming conscious Muslims by large numbers every single day. So here's a verse where Allah says, and we talked about this verse last week, and we want to talk about it again. This is a very powerful verse, as all the verses in the Quran are very, very powerful verses. So Allah says, it is He who has sent His messenger with the guidance and the religion of truth, that He may proclaim it over all other religions, even though the pagans may detest it. So Allah tells us He has sent His messenger. We thank Allah for that. He said He sent His messenger with huda, with guidance. The messenger just didn't come along. He came with guidance. That's His mission. His mission is to deliver the instruction on how you can make it through life. Without guidance, you can end up anywhere. That's why you got to have road maps. You have to have GPS. You have to have some direction, or you will wind up anywhere. And you look at all of this creation, all of this opportunity, all these resources. Without guidance, we can't get the most from it. That's why people take the creation and they make the creation work in a very destructive way, because they lack guidance. That's why Allah said, and we seek refuge in Allah from the mischief of the created things. Not that the created things is mischievous, but it has the potential to be used in a very destructive way. So He said, and He sent His messenger with guidance. He is Al Hadi. Allah is Al Hadi. He is the guide. Guidance is so important that when you read or you recite Al-Fatiha, you say, Ihdina Siratal Mustaqim. Show us, you want to be shown. Allah, show us the straight way. You say that Al-Fatiha every single day. You're begging out to Allah, I'm on your path, but Allah, I need you to show me the straight way, whatever I'm involved in. Whether you're making a deal, whether you're in school, you got to make choices in life. All through your life, you're seeking guidance. Allah, even in the midst of whatever I'm going through, show me the straight way. Because if I'm not shown the straight way, I can be misdirected as I move through life. So he said he sent his messenger with guidance, first of all, with guidance. That's why this is Masjid Al Hadi. This is the place of worship that allows people to be given information that will allow them to live a better life. Guidance for a better life. That's what guidance is all about. Guidance is about helping us to improve. So every single day, 5 times at least a day, we say, Ihdina Siratal Mustaqim. Show me the straight way. We can't do it on our own. We're being hit every single day. That's why Shaitan say he will sit not on a crooked path. Shaitan said, I will come before you, from behind you, from your right and your left. Everywhere you turn, there's forces that can misguide you. So we say, Ihdina Siratal Mustaqim. Show us the straight way. So he said he sent this messenger not by himself, but the messenger is bringing something with him that will allow us to improve our lives. So he said he is guidance from the messenger. I said a minute ago that the messenger comes to deliver a message that will help us to clean up the mess. It's very, very fundamental. That's the messenger's mission. Allah said that the messenger's duty is to deliver the message. You know how powerful that is? And if you follow the messenger, then you have to see yourself as a messenger, delivering the message that help people to get better. People are starving for the message of truth. That's why I say he sent the messenger with guidance and the religion of truth. Not just guidance, but guidance and a way of life that's built on a firm foundation. Deen al-Haq. And we talked all about that last week, about all these lies and misconceptions that has been distorted from the truth. And all these lies make people live a life with a weak foundation. And then when the very truth itself comes that's consistent with their nature, they run away from the truth because they've been conditioned to reject that which is strong. So if you've been conditioned by lies, you can't handle truth when it comes into your life. You run away from it. That's why the verse says, and he brought you the truth, but most of you hate the truth. We have to be lovers of truth. When you know what truth does for your soul, you have to love the truth. So he said he sent the messenger with guidance and the religion of truth that give you a firm foundation to build up your life. In fact, Allah says, and it is he who created the heavens and the earth bil haq. He created the heavens and the earth with durability, with staying power. The earth ain't going nowhere. The heavens will be here. He said he created that with truth. It will sustain the test of time. It's lasting. That's what truth is. It's lasting. It's durable. And I talked to you before last week about all the lies that came through religion. All the lies that they taught people and they teach people through religion, where people in most religions operate out of emotionalism. They're back at that first stage of development. And when you operate on emotions, it feels good, you're not doing a lot of thinking. And one of the major lies that was taught through religion, we said this is Din al-Haq, this is the way of truth. One of the major lies was that Jesus was the Son of God. That's one of the biggest lies that have been taught to humanity. Because Allah makes it very clear. It says, Isa ibn Maryam, Jesus the son of Mary. I'm going to make it very, very clear. Now, if you read that, where Allah says Isa ibn Maryam, that's because somebody else said before that Jesus was the Son of God. Now, Allah made it very clear. Isa ibn Maryam. And we talked about through religion, we talked last week about this idea of the sickness of white supremacy, and they used those lies through Christianity, at least in America, and locked a group of people up. Locked them up. And then I tell you, it went all through television, and they told you about Tarzan, and told you that Tarzan, not that he was just the man running the jungle. They put a heavy word that Tarzan was the Lord of the jungle. I want you to understand the language now. And these lies begin to perpetuate inferiority complexes. And then you wonder why people are not able to go out into the world and feel they can compete. Because they've been lied to as to who they are. So Allah says he sent the messenger with guidance. Man needs guidance. And then he needs to be taught the truth about life and reality. Because if his life is taught about a whole bunch of lies, he has a weak foundation. And when his foundation is weak, when the pressure comes, he folds. That's why Allah said he created this bil haq, with truth, and he sent this messenger with the deen of truth. Deen al haq. The way of life that is strong. That when all these opposing forces come, you can stand in your place. But if you start teaching people lies, you give them a religion that's based on lies, they sound way out there and they think they're making sense. Listen to some of them. They make it sound logical and it makes no sense. But you can condition people to accept almost anything when they operate out of emotions. That's why when you declare your faith, the first thing you do when you say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, I done thought about this. Ashhadu means I bear witness, I've looked at it, I put it on a scale of facts, and I weighed it out. I'm not declaring this faith on emotionalism. I've looked at this, said that Allah must be one. When I study the history, I look at Muhammad, he must be the messenger. When you look at the great works of Muhammad the Prophet, how he transformed a backward world. They had accepted the idea that a man had accepted the lie that his baby girl was worth nothing, and he was willing to put his baby girl in the ground. See, somebody told him a lie. That's a way of life that's built on lies. He took his baby girl and buried his baby girl in the ground, and Allah says in the Quran, and for what crime was she killed? See, with a lie, you can condition some people to do almost anything. That's why Allah said he sent he sent the messenger with guidance and the religion of truth. And Al-Islam has already stood the test of time. The religion of truth, that he may proclaim it over all ways of life. See, we said this is Deen al-Islam. This is Deen al-Haq. This is Deen al-Fitr. And all of those words connected to Deen mean it's specific what it is. Anytime you find the word al, the letter al, al before The word, it means it is definitive. It is the, not our way, it is the way. Right? Deen al-Islam, we say Deen al-Fitra, it is the way that is consistent with the very nature of the human being. It's a natural way. Deen al-Fitra. Allah's al-Fatir. He is the originator. And by him being the originator, this way of life is consistent with the original nature he put in the human being and the original nature of everything in creation. It's not foreign to your nature. That's why human beings all over the planet in large numbers are responding to the call of al-Islam. So Allah says, "Oh, you believe, respond to the messenger when he calls you to that which will give you life." We're talking about the messenger here. So the messenger brings a message. He's calling you to something that will turn you on. That will get the energy in your body circulating. That's life. The energy in your body is moving. It's not calling you to death. That's the devil's mission. The devil calls you to death. That's why the Quran, Allah said, the devil says, "I only call and you claim." See, the devil is making a call. But Muhammad, the prophet, is calling you to economic life. He's calling you to political life. He's calling you to intellectual life. He's calling you to social life. He's calling you to mental life. He's also calling you to emotional life where your emotions operate in a healthy way. So Allah said, respond to the messenger when he calls you to that which will give you life. Here it is. It is he who sent his messenger with guidance. Man needs guidance or he can never maximize all this creation. He'll miss the opportunities without the guidance. So he just didn't send the messenger by himself. He sent the messenger with guidance and the religion of truth. ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Assalamu alaikum. So yes, so the messenger comes. See, the messenger role is powerful. In fact, Allah says that the messenger is a warner and a guide. When you start talking about guidance, people need to be warned. They need to be warned about the consequences of their lifestyle. They need to be warned about the consequences of their behavior. Because if they're not warned about what's going to take place, they will never really see what's coming down the road. And we have to be like the messenger. We have to warn people. That's why I tell you that we follow the messenger. Then we have to see ourselves as messenger. I want you to follow me very close. I didn't say you see yourself as the messenger, but you have to see yourself as a messenger delivering a message. You got a message that people need to hear. Here's a life-giving message in this system called Deen al-Islam. A life-giving message that's contained in this deen, which is all comprehensive. See, some people think about deen, they think about religion. They think about deen, they think about spiritual. And that's why sometimes Muslims are not effective in society because they've limited their role to spirituality. When we say deen, it covers everything about our lives. Your deen covers your business life. Deen covered the life of the student in school where they can go there with an awareness of knowing I'm a powerful student. And I believe that once I line my mind with what my teacher make me great. So the student goes into the classroom understanding that my deen says I'm one in pursuit of knowledge. Because I understand what knowledge would do for me and what knowledge would do for the world. So I'm pursuing knowledge so I can become one who is impacting society. So my deen tells me, as a student, I'm a recipient of information that will stimulate what's already inside of me. That's the very purpose of education. The word education comes from the Latin word educere, which means to bring out what is already in you. That's what education is about. Education is about stimulation. The question is about turning you on to make connections. So your dean says you see yourself as a key part of the revolution for change. But you have to be aware that the message says I have to be in a position of being alive. Alive. Intellectually alive, emotionally alive. Having the sensitivities to deliver the message to help people to get better. That's what it's all about, to help people to get better. So he says he sent his messenger with guidance and the religion, Din al-Haq, of truth, that he may proclaim it over all religions. Even though the pagans may detest it, they may dislike it. See, Allah letting you know that's not even important. Because he's going to make this prevalent. I talked to you before, I said, when you look at the influence of Al-Islam, do you know how many people don't eat pork because of Muslims? Ain't no Muslim. They're not even a Muslim. But they've been influenced by Al-Islam. See, Allah said he's going to make this prevalent. Do you know how many people have changed their names and taken on Muslim names? They have no interest in Al-Islam. But the influence of Al-Islam in this world is prevailing, not because of force, but because of influence. Do you know how big the halal industry is becoming right now? That people are buying halal. You can walk around all over, see halal on billboards, halal in the market. That's the influence of Al-Islam. Because why? It is guidance for a better life. In fact, Allah himself said that the Quran is hudan lin-nas, guidance for man, not guidance for just Muslims. It's guidance for people. And people are going to benefit from what Allah said he will make it proclaim over all religions, even though the pagans hate it. I told you last week you find Muslim congressmen, Muslim judges. I told you before, I said they see the sister Omar there with a chemo with a head covering, and they said, how did we let this happen? How we let this happen? Congressmen. Well, now you got different views coming into play. It's going to be challenging, but times are changing. Why? Because Allah said he sent his messenger with guidance and the religion of truth. That if we're going to be here, if we're going to live in America, we're going to influence and impact where we live. We're not going to be outsiders looking around waiting for people to do things for us. We're going to engage ourselves in the process of making life better for ourselves and other people. So Allah said he sent his messenger with guidance and the religion of truth. I tell you before, you look at all these hospitals, right? St. Michael's, St. Elizabeth, Beth Israel. You know the names. These are religious-based influence hospitals that represent Christians and Jews. That's what I just gave you. Christians and Jews. St. Elizabeth, St. Mary's, Beth Israel. It's a few more. My mind just not there. St. Anthony's. These are institutions of healing that have been established by Christians and Jews. Now, the Muslims wanted to take their position and establish those kind of institutions. That we're going to have to be models for healing. We're going to have that kind of impact. To help heal the world, because we understand that the world needs healing. It needs emotional, physical, and psychological healing. And we have the Quran where Allah said, this is Ashifa. It is the healing. We got a book that has a name called healing. Physical, psychological, emotional healing. And we begin to see the body as one. See, everything in Al-Islam is about Wahid, one. We see all of this connected. We don't see it disconnected. That's why most people get messed up. They see things so separate, even with their bodies. We talked before about the whole idea of the diagnosis. You make the diagnosis. If you make the diagnosis, get the diagnosis, and if you don't work on it, then that diagnosis is going to make you move. No, you look at the symptoms from it. If you don't really pay attention to the symptom, then over time that symptom will lead to a diagnosis. The diagnosis may not be good. And if you don't work on what has been diagnosed to work to make it better, then that diagnosis will ultimately lead to a prognosis. And the prognosis says, if you don't correct this, this is what's going to happen to you. Now we see all that connected. We don't say, oh, well, we don't know how this happened. No, you did. There's some things you know how to happen. There's a lot of things that say, well, we don't know how it happened. And one of the reasons why you tell them you don't know how it happened, because if you tell them you know how it happened, then you would begin to solve that which they don't understand. And then when you begin to solve those problems that people don't understand, then you go out of business. See them lies. People have been lied to about their own reality. So they keep people uninformed, lie to people, don't tell people the truth, and people begin to live our lives. And those lies begin to perpetuate, and other people begin to buy into those lies. And they're never able to figure out their world. So we talk about the symptom, and if you don't pay attention to the symptom, then the symptom over time will grow into something else. We got all kinds of symptoms, not just in your body, you got symptoms in society. We don't pay attention to these symptoms in society, they just begin to escalate. Where for whatever reason, the guy will be on a train and will literally kick a woman. I know some of you seen that, will literally kick a woman. See, that's a symptom of a real deep problem. Just don't happen like this. It's deep. That's why most of your illness, you see the symptom, but it's something deeper than what you see. And if we don't work on the symptom that says pay attention, that's all the symptom says. The symptom says pay attention. That's why Allah says there's ayat, there's signs in your body and signs within the creation, but the signs are for men and women of understanding. And if you don't pay attention to the symptom, then over time, that symptom is going to grow into something that there's going to be a diagnosis. And then if you really don't pay attention to the diagnosis, I tell you, then prognosis set in. Prognosis says if you don't do something to alter what's happening, it's going to be catastrophe. Same for physical body is the same for society. The same for community, the same for family. So he said, he sent this messenger with guidance. That's what the world is starving for. They're starving for guidance and they need to be fed the truth. Guidance, and he connects the religion of truth because those two go together. People are starving for guidance and they're tired of being lied to. But I tell you, I like that part in that movie. I forgot the name of the movie, but the guy told Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson said, he said, I want to know the truth. He said, you can't handle the truth. And a lot of people just can't handle the truth. That's why they run away from it. That's why they tell you when people try to get free from drugs, the first thing you have to do is accept the fact that you're an addict. If you are in denial that you're an addict, if you don't tell the truth, I'm an addict, you never break free. The first part of being free is accepting the truth that I am who I am. I'm in bondage. These drugs, this alcohol, this gambling, it got me locked up. It's controlling my life. And if I want to get better, I have to accept that that's who I am. And until I accept the fact that I'm a slave to this, I can never break free. So the first part of you improving your life is accepting truth. Accepting the truth of who you are. Accepting the truth of I got to improve my situation. I have to take full responsibility to clean up the mess in my life. Your mother told you, your father told you, boy, girl, get in that room and clean up that mess. Because mess will burden your spirit. Mess will lock up the energy that's flowing in your body. It will make things stagnant because, see, life is movement. And when there's no movement, there's death. So he sent the messenger with guidance. See, the messenger is delivering something to help us to clean up the mess. He sent the messenger with guidance and the religion of truth. And when you get truth in your life, you get truth in your spirit, you feel good. There's something liberating about truth. And we have to be lovers of truth and hate lies. I want to close with this hadith because it's about truth. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, keep telling the truth. For truthfulness leads to good deeds, and good deeds lead to paradise. If someone continues to speak the truth and make truth his target, then he will be recorded in Allah's presence as being a truthful person. Avoid lying, for lying leads to wrongdoing, and wrongdoing leads to hell. And if a person continues to tell lies and makes lying his target, he will be recorded in Allah's presence as a liar. And that's a weak person. That's an inconsistent person. That's a person that can't follow what's going on because I got to think about trying to keep that lie going on. I thought I said that. See? When you tell the truth, you have to think, but just tell the truth. Lies, you got to think about a lie. That's a weak person. You're unstable. Truth is real. Truth is powerful. Then Haq gives us a strong foundation by which we can build our lives, stand firm, not be moved by the winds of emotions. See, a lot of people are moved by the winds of emotion because they don't have the stability of truth. Truth gives us a strong foundation to stand up against the winds of emotion that can literally wipe us out. Peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.